Yeah, so we've had a lot of inquiries from clients lately, mostly asking about investing outside of the GTA. Not even, maybe just more out of the urban area, right? Just because of COVID and the uncertainty of whether or not people are going to be returning to the workplace in Toronto. There's been a massive amount of people looking to invest in places like Prince Edward County, a lot of stuff along Lake Simcoe, Muskoka, etc. One of the big themes is Airbnbs. How do we make money, or perhaps get something that we can add to our life from a lifestyle perspective. So have a beautiful house like this that you can come and enjoy on the weekends or for vacation for your family, but also have it as an income stream for the time that you're not using it, right?
Right. So I stumbled upon Brighton. I had never heard of Brighton at all.
Right.
I was just driving through from hanging out in Prince Edward County.
Right.
And did a quick tour and didn't realize they had an incredible beach.
Yeah.
Presqu'île Provincial Park is stunning.
Yeah.
And houses were still very inexpensive. So that day, I saw a house. I took the number.
Yeah.
I was able to walk through it within an hour, and the next day I put an offer in.
Right.
And it was closer to the water, closer to the park. And I renovated it, did a full gut, Airbnb'd it, was successful, and flipped it.
Right.
And now I'm here. I didn't intend on staying in Brighton, but I passed by this incredible property, and I just couldn't. I had to. This is the dream.
Yeah.
It's the dream. The white farmhouse, the red barns, the stone base.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you Airbnb it, is it a lot of people coming here for wine country, your bachelorette party crowd kind of thing, or what seems to be the demographic?
So it comes from everywhere. People in Quebec and Ottawa, they don't have beaches.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Right.
They come this way for the beaches.
Right.
And they take a lot of time off in the summer.
Yeah.
So they take week segments off and can head this way. Again, you have Torontonians and people from Ajax and Whitby just wanting to enjoy the beaches and Prince Edward County. So you get weekend couples and groups that want to party, drink wine, experience a mini Napa Valley, and they come here.
Right.
Now it houses, it's 5 bedrooms, so you can have 12 people here.
Right. And you did all of the design in the home yourself?
Yeah, this was pretty gross when I bought it. Yeah, it was pretty gross.
But you've done an exceptional job.
Yeah, I mean, these old farmhouses, they have one bathroom
Yeah.
to house this massive home, and I renovated the one and added 3 more, so there's 4. There's still more work to do, but I had to upgrade the electrical.
Yeah.
As farmers, they focus on the outside.
Yeah.
They make sure their foundation is good and the roof is good, and the barn and the stables are good, and they don't care about the inside of the house.
Right.
The deck was small. I had to double the deck.
Right.
They're not out there.
Yeah, or when they are, they're working. Right?
Yeah, they're working.
And I know I prefaced sort of using the term Airbnb, but I think you had used Airbnb in the past, and now you've transitioned over to a different rental company.
I'm in transition.
Right.
So Airbnb was so successful, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Turnovers, and my stay was minimum 3 nights. But when you're passionate about this and you want to maintain a 5-star, you're quite micro about it. So I am switching venues to Jayne's Cottages, and they're in Muskoka, and they sell out. I mean, they are busy. They have a lot of Torontonians and people from out of country that want to experience Muskoka. They've been so successful, they're coming east, and I'm kind of there first.
Right.
Eastern Airbnb, but I'm going to also be the most western one. They're really concentrating on Prince Edward County and Kingston, that area. But my farm and property is kind of in their repertoire of what they would take.
Yeah, it really fits, I guess, from the sort of vision that they have for the kind of product that they want to bring to market. Because I guess it's like a little bit more upscale.
They call it's white glove service.
Right. Okay.
White glove service, and I'm in because they take a large percentage, but they take care of all the cleaning, all the linen changes. Any issue, I don't speak to the guest at all.
Right.
They call a property manager. If Rowan needs to do something, my caretaker, they'll call him directly. I won't even know what happened.
Right.
So I get to focus on my career, which is an interior designer.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine from a turnover perspective, like with a property this big, with all of the
It was a lot of
the
work.
barns. Yeah, it's a ton of, especially if you're doing 3 nights at a time. Like I'm sure it's probably pretty lucrative, but it's also a lot of work, right?
Yeah, and I'd rather sacrifice a couple bucks for freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess explain to me, because a lot of people who are looking for properties like this one, and you do have this property listed for sale, which I love that you're selling it yourself as well. And you mentioned, you feel like you're probably the best person to represent this property, and I would agree now that I've been through it and seen everything that you've done with the property. So what went into this property? Acknowledging that most people maybe moving from Toronto to get a product like this aren't necessarily going to be familiar with how much work it takes to get something from where you got it to where it is now.
Well, a few things on the exterior. The roof is fairly new and the windows are all new, which is huge.
Yeah.
But the exterior fencing in the whole property was a big deal for me. People have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They have dogs, and they kind of want a gate and to feel that kind of privacy that no one's going to just wander through just to check out the farm, because there are 2 entrances.
Yeah.
So they've got the privacy, plus the Airbnb in itself has a fence. So for evenings, letting your dog out, knowing your perimeters as a guest, as a renter, that's segmented out. So we've got 2 fences. Because cows were in the barns, there's a lot of mud and manure around the whole barn. So we put in proper drainage and put gravel, leveled it out to start the first phase of creating some sort of entertaining area around the barn.
Right.
Daytime, afternoon, and creating flower beds everywhere.
Yeah.
Again, as farmers, they don't worry about that stuff.
No.
They do not have flower beds.
Yeah. Well, they don't have time.
They don't have time, and I can respect that. But
Sure.
yeah, they don't do a thing. But this place is pretty amazing because this is one of the original farms, and one of the original owners, the Bose family.
Right.
The side street is Bose Road. They were like the mayor of the town, so they got to do things on this property that you normally wouldn't do.
Right.
So you'll see the trees are, like 4 feet from the road, which they aren't supposed to be.
Right.
There's a barn over on that side that's 4 feet from the road.
Right.
There's 3 massive drains on the property, which is amazing.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things that they got to do. One of the big reasons I bought this place is because the barns themselves are reinforced by steel, which is massive.
Yeah.
And the original owners were smart. I mean, they donated all the land from end to end of my property, directly across. I'm across from the lake, so the lake's right across the street. So all the property to the lake, they donated to Conservation Canada and Ducks Canada.
Right.
So it's a playground for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Across the street.
For sure.
There'll never be a cookie cutter neighborhood.
Yeah.
There'll never be a plaza, or there'll never be one big, massive modern house.
Right.
We just get nature all the time, which is massive.
No,
I think there's a lot of value in that. And on the whole east side of this property is a creek that goes right to Lake Ontario.
Nice. Good. When, I guess expanding on that a little bit, when you took possession of the property, I know you've got when Cena and I went around looking at it, it looks like there's a lot of things that you can see where your vision is heading to. Like what what would be the ultimate goal if you could continue, or if you like typically a property like this takes a long time to sell because it's niche, right?
Yes.
So how are you going to
in the spring
continue? Yeah.
That 30 by 30 garage is insulated, heated, there's water. It will be a gallery with a cafe and a pizza oven at the back, so you have a view of the barns.
Yeah.
So pizza ovens, there's just none in the area, so outdoor pizza would be great. As well, I'm going to hang kayaks and paddleboards, old ones on the corner, and have paddleboard, kayak, and canoe rentals.
Nice.
Because there's beautiful spits just a couple minutes away, and I trailer them over, dump them off, pick them up when they're ready.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a low maintenance business. So those are spill offs from the Airbnb, 2 easy ones. So a beautiful cafe, and a gallery, and those will also dub as workshops. So yoga workshop, painting workshops, wine tasting, special events.
Yeah. So there's some of that community space, right? Yeah. And then the other barns, I know, like the main barn, the old bank barn, it's just massive. And when Sina and I went through originally, like especially with all that furniture, which I do want you to touch on the history of that furniture, but with all the furniture there, like it looks like you're equipped to be able to do weddings or, you know, large scale events on this property.
It is an event barn. It is. It was born to be an event barn. Nothing's been in there but cows and hay. Right. So when I took it over, I had to just clean it out. And it doesn't stink. It's pristine.
No, I didn't.
All the floor, nothing's been touched. Floor hasn't been walked on. Just hay.
Yeah.
So it was easy to clean up, and we have light fixtures we have to hang. We bought light fixtures. We took a layer of plywood that they have because the hay was so strong. We took the layer of plywood, and there's beautiful barn board. Right. Again, it's reinforced by steel. There's not a lot of light coming in, so we have windows we're going to install in the spring, and all afternoon sun because events are held in the afternoon. Yeah. We've created vignettes on the east and west side, so if you want sun, you can have it. If you don't, you're in the shade, outdoors. And there's a men's room with a pool table, and chairs, and a poker table, and a little bar. And then there's a little lavender room for the women, which has chandeliers hanging in a fireplace, and that's adorable too. And there's a kitchen. Now the kitchen isn't built, but it's just gonna be mocked up for now, and we'll see what happens. I'm just building a dream. I don't know what's.
Just chipping away at it.
I don't know what I'm just building a dream. I'm doing exactly what I would dream this place should be. That's it. Will it happen? I don't know. Will I get to it this summer? I don't know. But
I guess it depends if
I've got the Airbnb done.
Check,
I'm going to work on the garage and then and the kayaking, which is easy for me to do, and then maybe I'll put it out there that I have an event bar. Maybe we'll do 5 events next year. See how it goes.
Well, like you see, like I like it especially because, you know, you've got the stability of the income from the vacation rental, and especially then, you know, next year when you're working with Jayne's Cottages, I would expect that the passiveness of that is going to improve, right? Like it'll be less and less work, so it allows you to focus on something like the Canadian rentals, and then, you know, you can add things in if you want that. It's almost like, you know, when I think about it from an investment perspective, again, like a lot of the investors coming out of the city, it's almost like buying a mixed-use property, right? You get like so many different potential streams of income from one piece of real estate, and I like that perspective, honestly. I mean, if you think about just the event side of things, like some of these barn weddings, I'm seeing venue rental rates of like, you know, $20,000 to $50,000.
When I spoke to the mayor,
you do 5 of those a year, you're doing all right.
5, and it doesn't stress you out. I mean, I spoke to the mayor when I first bought this place. I told him this is my dream. I would love to have a microbrewery, you know, beer festivals, or you know, flea market, or just community events that bring people to Brighton. Brighton is, you know, there isn't a lot happening, and it'd be nice to, you know, for things to pick up here a bit. He was on board. I told him about events, and he said even that their own organization, when they have their yearly meetings or their yearly galas, they have to go outside of Brighton. They can't even support there's nowhere. There's a church, but some people don't want to do the church because they're not, you know, churchgoers, or the curling club. I mean, it's not really.
Well, and you almost just like repeat the same cycle, right? It's nice to have it mixed up, like, you know, to throw a little variety in there, right? Especially something that celebrates the heritage of the area.
Also, wineries in Prince Edward County want to come to Brighton and do events. They could do events here.
For sure.
Also have chefs from Toronto who want to come here and take their exquisite clientele here and have a retreat weekend. People have talked to me. Currently, there's a gentleman interested from California. He does VIP. It's called VIP weddings. VIP weddings, and He has his venues in North Carolina, and he's looking here.
Right. Yeah, I think we were discussing that prior to starting to record. Like, I had a similar property listed for sale just north of Toronto, and it was 5 acres, similar, I would say, utility. Like, it had a bank barn, it had a big steel barn, a pole barn as well.
Is that what you call the big one, the bank barn?
Yeah, bank barn, yeah. I don't know why they call them that, but that's where basically where cattle and hay.
I would say, like, that would be nice if it was a bank.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. But
it's
people
more like a money pit.
Yeah, no, they cost a lot of money, the upkeep on those. But people wanting to use those, and most of the purchasers that we're looking at it were, people who wanted to get creative with the barn property, right? So like things like, it was very similar to the lines that you're saying, a brewery, especially because you can grow hops on site and stuff like that. And again, if you wanted to go even from the winery perspective,
weed,
enough grower, weed, whatever it is, right? But with the challenge that we ran into with that property, with a lot of those innovative perspectives, was it's very hard to get the zoning changed in a municipality like that, like in a suburban area. Here you've got a much smaller municipality. You can go in and probably talk to the mayor and all of the councillors.
They want growth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's not like I'm converting a farm into something. It's like I don't have land.
Yeah.
I don't. I have the farmer sold off the farmhouse.
Yeah.
So that's what happened here is they bought all the acreage around, and this became surplus because they have a house right there.
Yeah.
So this becomes a pain in the butt.
Right.
But I upgraded the electrical because that was unsafe in this house from fuses. That was a big deal. Changing all the light fixtures, adding proper.
So was it knob and tube with the fuses?
No.
It's just a fuse panel.
It was just fuses, and it wasn't sufficient enough, and they blow and I had to add plugs everywhere, 3-prong plugs everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like this place hasn't been touched.
Yeah, well, a lot of them. You'd have wires that were ungrounded. Like I imagine there's a lot of stuff. It is nice when you really inherit that lifetime of work when you get a barn. I like it like when you're mentioning, I'll do whatever's next, right? It's like you almost get to you get to just like roll along with and just be mentally present. Whatever you want to do next, you can pursue, right?
This rental's sufficient.
Yeah.
Do I want to take a break? I could.
Yeah.
But I won't.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is the dream. There's so many businesses here.
So, who do you think is the most likely person to purchase a property like that?
For sure, someone who wants the dream.
Right. Yeah.
There's quite a few people who want this dream.
Yeah.
I just have to find them, or they have to find this place. So far, the people who have been serious.
Yeah.
I had someone walk through at the end, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cried.
Yeah.
She said, "What do we do next? How do we?"
Yeah.
They didn't end up buying it. I was the first place they looked at.
Yeah.
But she wanted to move forward right then and there.
Yeah.
Her agent said, "Hold on."
Yeah.
The other person is the other couple who stayed overnight. Real estate agent, and he's a high-end chef. They want to leave the city, come here with their 2 kids and a dog, and live that life and create that dream.
Do most of the purchasers seem to be coming from more urban areas, like from the city? Like nobody local is coming to look at this. Not even from Kingston or.
No.
Right. So a lot of it's Toronto or GTA.
I know who's going to buy my place.
Yeah.
I know who's going to buy my place. It's somebody who is going to freak out over this property like I did.
Yeah. For sure.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. Have you found that having it, like using it as a vacation rental, has almost been like a marketing strategy to getting people towards the sale? Like, because one of the things that we're going to be looking at, so there's a couple of other Airbnbs that we're looking at that are also for sale, and some of the agents have even said like a lot of the traffic or people who are making offers on the property are people who stayed in it, right? Like they never would have known. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah. But I guess for you, it's almost like maybe the opposite, like because I think you had mentioned you gave some people who were interested the opportunity to come stay here for a couple of days, right? So they could see it and touch it and feel it.
Yeah, that was just last weekend, so
that's
they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it's, whoever's someone could just have, just want to get out of the city and have a farm and come here only on weekends, every other weekend.
Sure.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they want horses,
and
they'll have a caretaker and come here, once a week.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned the horses, because I one of the other things about the place in Mount Albert that we had listed for sale, you can't get livestock on a lot less than 50 acres. Like you can't get a new permit for livestock, and that's per
really?
control. Yeah. So one of the advantages is that because you've had livestock here in the past, it would technically be grandfathered.
Yeah, so I have to farm $8,000 worth. I have to make $8,000 a year to be able to maintain my farm status.
Right, and that's for the tax perspective,
Yeah.
like with OMAFRA, yeah. So, but the livestock perspective, I mean, it's just basically something that would roll over, right? Like if there's been livestock here before, you can. Well, yeah, because I guess there's just a certain limitation around the size of the lot, right?
I just thought I'd have what I want.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy. I mean, I don't get the feeling that you would have any complaints out here, but it's a nice add value, because there's a lot of money in the equestrian industry, right?
Is there?
Like, oh yeah, for sure. So you mentioned like with somebody who wants to bring horses here, the fact that they could do that on a smaller lot where they don't have to go and buy 100 or 50 acres, right? It's a nice opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to inject into the conversation before we wrap up? Or?
Do you want to take a tour of the barns?
Yeah, I'd love to. We'd love to take a tour with you if you have the time.
Right, let's go.
Okay.
Can we just talk about the furniture?
Oh yeah, we didn't touch on that one. Yeah.
Keep going.
Actually, we can do it when we're in the barn.
Let's do it now and then.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were discussing, like I had said, it almost looked like you had enough inventory of furniture to do like a full wedding here. And you had mentioned a really interesting story about the furniture there, so I wanted to...
Oh my gosh. So, my back is broken. There's so much stuff here.
Yeah.
So the Thompson Hotel in Toronto,
Yep.
King and Spadina, they did a massive renovation. And if you're familiar with the Thompson Hotel, you are familiar with the lobby bar. So I have all their furniture from the lobby bar.
Right. Was that like a right place at the right time kind of thing, or were you doing design work with them?
No, just right place at the right time.
Right.
And I was buying lots, so I was buying a lot of things, so they liked me, and we just kept going. And as well, the rooftop. So they have the infinity pool there, and I have all the beautiful Denon outdoor furniture and their lounge chairs, and I use that outside, and it's spectacular. Yeah. It's incredible. It's beautiful. But as an interior designer, I have art. I have things. I have things.
Yeah. Oh, there's all.
So it was easy, to add in extras like Persian rugs and art and fireplace mantles and all these things that make and accessories that make the place warm and cozy.
Yeah, for sure. Did you, given your experience in interior design, did you find that there were any like sort of unique challenges here by comparison to most of your work, which I would imagine is in the city, right? Anything different, drastically different? Are you working with a lot of like older homes in the city, like any structurally, is there any big changes? Because it sounds like you moved in and immediately knew what you had to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the same everywhere. It's everything to code.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just
follow the rules.
Just follow the rules.
Yeah.
I guess, it's different in the country because you don't, have your neighbors down your back.
Right.
But you still have to do everything to code.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
it's not any different. I can say that this project has taken me away from my work a bit in Toronto.
Right.
But I'm happy about it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I love being here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I guess it's kind of an enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. But I'm tired. I am tired.
Yeah. I can imagine it's a lot of work to have.
It's just me. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, thank God I have a caretaker.
Yeah.
Thank God I have someone who does, all the heavy lifting and takes care and watches and closes doors.
Well, and he knows the property so well, right? Like,
and he cares.
Like we found it remarkable when we toured the property with him that there was like he was so familiar with everything. Right?
Yeah, and just little things like making sure the pigeons don't come in for the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, get them out of there, and he was so good. Like there was a couple of pigeons in there, making sure they're out and closing up all the gaps.
Yeah. No, it's not easy work.
No, even cutting the grass takes a whole day.
Yeah. No, I grew up in a small town, and we refer to lawns in the number of beers it takes to drink it on or to mow it on a ride-on lawnmower.
That's-
And I would say this would be like at least a 12 beer launch.
12 beer, drunk lunch. Zigzags by the end.
Exactly, yeah. No,
Yeah,
you're
my
not gonna have
dad as a
straight,
kid, reminds me of my dad as a kid with his 50.
Yeah.
Cup holder of his
Yeah.